violent tragedy. 39 people found dead in the back of a refrigerated truck.
New South Wales Parliament left virtually unguarded as special constables walk off the job.
The late rush to climb Uluru before it's banned.
And David Warner speaks about his form slump.
For me, then the day is just worrying about what I have to do and that's score runs.
This is NBN News with Lobb and Natasha Beyersdorf.
Good evening. It was a desperate attempt at a new life that ended in horrific circumstances.
39 people, including a teenager, have been found dead in the back of a refrigerated truck near London.
Tonight, the race is on to identify the migrants and find those responsible. Inside this regular red and white semi-trailer, 39 people succumbed to a miserable death.
This is an absolute tragedy and very sad day for Essex Police and the local community.
38 adults and one teenager, their bodies found in the truck's container early on Wednesday morning. This is the semi-moments beforehand as it drove to an industrial park in Essex about an hour east of London.
We received a call from the ambulance service taking us to the scene.
Were they alerted to that? Who raised the alarm?
I'm not sure of that information at this point in time.
There were no survivors. As forensic teams set to work, locals came to pay their respects.
I'm completely and utterly shocked and devastated. They deserve dignity. They deserve to have respect paid to them.
The truck was registered in Bulgaria and took an unusual route into the UK. The trailer, police say, came by ferry from the port of Zeebrugge in Belgium to Purfleet, a small town in Essex, avoiding the well-policed immigration checks of Calais and Dover. The prime mover is believed to have come from Northern Ireland, picking up the trailer and leaving port shortly after 1 a.m. on Wednesday. Then it was a drive of less than 4 kilometres to where the bodies were found.
This is an unimaginable tragedy and truly heartbreaking.
To put 39 people into a locked metal container shows a contempt for human life that is evil.
The driver, 25-year-old Mo Robinson from Northern Ireland, was arrested at the scene on suspicion of murder. This is the largest mass casualty of its kind in the UK since the year 2000, when 58 migrants died in the back of a truck at the port of Dover. They suffocated when the driver closed an air vent to avoid being seen at immigration checks. It's thought the victims on board this semi may have frozen to death in a refrigerated container where the temperature drops as low as minus 25 degrees. Police say it will take some time to identify who they are and what they were so desperate to leave behind. In Essex, Amelia Adams, NBN News.
Europe correspondent Sophie Walsh is in Essex tonight. A short time ago, she filed this report on whether police are any closer to figuring out who the victims are.
Police have now taken that truck to a secure site and they have started identifying those 39 victims. As you can see, flowers continue to build here at the industrial site. Police have also raided 2 homes linked to the truck driver Mo Robinson. He's still speaking with police, but he's yet to be charged.
Sophie Walsh reporting there. Your licence, passport, even the sound of your voice and the way you walk, all on file. That's the Morrison government's controversial plan to create a national surveillance database. But today, a setback, with Parliament's powerful security committee demanding more safeguards.
Cameras littering every public space, linked to powerful facial recognition technology, monitoring every single citizen.
I, along with many other Australians, are very troubled by the repressive surveillance state.
Last night, Andrew Hastie was talking about China. Today, the Intelligence and Security Committee he chairs sent the Morrison government's bill to build a facial recognition database back to the drawing board.
Wanting to ensure the safety and security of all Australians is something that we all have in common, but we also need to protect citizens' rights while doing so.
The Liberals in lockstep with Labor committee members, citing numerous concerns.
The potential for such a service to be used for mass or blanket surveillance.
The bill would allow the creation of a central database of identity documents like driver's licences, sourced from every state and territory, which could be accessed by federal, state and local governments and some private companies.
If this bill goes through, Australia will become close to an unregulated surveillance state.
The committee found the bill would give all levels of government and the private sector unprecedented access to Australian citizens' private biometric information with few safeguards. The committee wants a rewrite built on transparency and privacy, but it does agree with the intention of the law. So one day there will be a national database with your photo in it. Chrissy Ullman, NBN News.
Police are asking for public help as they seek to identify a driver killed in a crash on the M1 at Lake Macquarie. The victim was travelling north near O'Donnell Town Road just before midnight when their vehicle veered off the road into bushland and caught alight. Police are investigating how the incident occurred and are asking witnesses or anyone with dash cam footage to come forward.
A woman has been charged with several driving offences following a fatal two-car crash at Belmont North on May the 13th. A Ford Falcon travelling south on the Pacific Highway collided with a northbound Mitsubishi Colt. The 50-year-old female driver of the Colt died at the scene, while the driver of the Ford, a 32-year-old woman, was taken to hospital. Yesterday she was arrested and charged with multiple offences, including dangerous driving occasioning death and driving under the influence of a drug. She's due to face court next month.
More than 8,000 MDMA pills have been taken off New South Wales streets. Police officers pounced on a 29-year-old man in Sydney this morning in a sting nearly a week in the making.
These police are about to pay a surprise visit to Fandi Tanawajaya. Hands on his head as officers go on to raid his Kent Street apartment. The 29-year-old under arrest for importing half a kilogram of the popular party drug MDMA.
It had the potential to produce 8,000 pills. With a potential street value of $200,000.
It was last Friday when Border Force officials intercepted a package that arrived in air cargo from the UK. The MDMA found hidden within protein powder.
People have been intuitive in the way they package these things, obviously to avoid detection.
It clearly didn't work in this case and led to the discovery of more drugs in Tanawajaya's unit. Another 500 pills, as well as cocaine, ice, LSD and $7,000 cash. Police hoping the bust will buckle use during the upcoming festival season.
We don't know who manufactures them, we don't know what's contained with them. At the end of the day, the message to get out there is don't take them.
Tiffany Genders, NBN News.
The coal mining industry has been attacked in federal parliament over the treatment of casual workers. One Nation Senator Malcolm Roberts says the way casuals on extended contracts miss out on long service leave and other benefits is unfair.
I've never seen such deceitful practices as I've heard from 8 people in Hunter Valley recently. And they've had far-reaching consequences on their lives of these miners. They've suffered with depression, illness and suicide from mistreatment, and that's not your responsibility. They're emotionally, physically and mentally exhausted, and the worst of it is that they cannot even access workers' compensation.
The Senator also criticised the CFMEU over its links to the Minerals Council. The union has declined to comment.
Plans for a new town centre in Stockton are on the cards, with 6 sites considered for a shopping centre and medium-density housing. They've been ranked on location, land size and accessibility. Sites near the Stockton Bridge and Fern Bay are preferred, with Newcastle Council voting to put the draft plans up for public exhibition.
Port Stephens residents have just under 2 weeks to have their say on plans for an $18 million hotel near the derelict Anna Bay Resort on Gangan Road. The development application lodged with the council includes townhouse accommodation, a swimming pool and a restaurant. Public submissions close on November the 7th.
A new report has pointed to some of the hip pocket impacts of climate change. The Central Coast has ranked among the Australian regions most at risk for a number of natural disasters and environmental challenges.
The Central Coast is no stranger to bushfires and wild weather racking up hefty damage bills. But new figures show climate change could present a considerable challenge for our household insurance budgets. A new report by XDI shows Central Coast insurance claims could be on the rise due to severe weather events. The region ranked in the top 5 for all hazard risks in 2020 and 2100. We're ranked first in the nation for fires now and into the future. We're sitting third for risk of soil subsidence and 10th for rising sea levels. The numbers were crunched by climate risk.
If we do see the exponential increase in sea levels that we're predicting in the science, then there's quite a lot of homes that are going to be affected in the Central Coast.
The Insurance Council of Australia labelled the analysis scaremongering, pointing out government action could help tackle issues leading to premium rises or homes becoming uninsurable.
There may not be anything they can do at a house level. It really needs to be done at a local government level. And that's where, for example, increased drainage, seawall protections, that kind of thing will be very important.
Central Coast Council ticked off its climate change policy in July, which will look to limit damage to local infrastructure and get its own net carbon emissions to zero by 2050. It removed any mention of planned retreat due to sea level rises. Council was contacted for comment but did not make deadline. Sarah Giuliano, NBN News.
Nelson Bay's first Probus Club celebrated its 40th anniversary today after being formed in the 1970s to bring retirees of all backgrounds together.
It gives people in the retired age to get together and have a common interest in doing something. That's what it's all about.
The group focuses on skills and education, with members of the community invited to be guest speakers every few weeks.
Still to come, the crash that saved a young family.
This is the business end of spring. You know your favourite runners and your favourite players. So, with over 150 racing and sport promotional offers this week, you know what to do. Ladbrokes. Back yourself.
It's Domain's Big Birthday Weekend with up to 20% off selected home appliances. This Whirlpool front-load washer, 20% off. And this Hitachi fridge made in Japan, 20% off. Plus last chance to win a car. Now at Domain, hurry, ends Monday.
I need a place to play and grow ideas in my head. I need a shed.
From council to construction, Shed Boss does it all. Built strong, built right with Aussie Blue Scope steel. Shedbosshunter.com.au. Masonite Road, Heatherbrae.
Get him a shed.
Tilly's has been providing high-quality care and education for your most precious assets for over 25 years. Enjoy the best in early education and care at Tilly's, where good beginnings never end. Visit Tilly's today.
At Lexhibition, you'll find a 1.9% comparison rate offer on a range of Lexus vehicles that anticipate your needs. Welcome to Lexhibition. On now.
The LDV T60, tough and packed with features. And for a limited time, we're adding one more feature, a $2,000 prepaid Visa card. The T60 from just $28,990 drive away. It's why more people are saying it's LDV for me.
I love being part of the Spring Racing Carnival, whatever I'm doing. I also love that BetEasy gives me consistently better odds. What do you think? Past 3, hey?
Are you confident you can cover your living costs in retirement? A Challenger lifetime annuity can complement your existing retirement income, giving you guaranteed income for life. Find out more at challenger.com.au.
Film on 16s. Great food, great value, great location.
This is the business end of spring. You know your favourite runners and your favourite players. So, with over 150 racing and sport promotional offers this week, you know what to do. Ladbrokes. Back yourself.
It's Domain's Big Birthday Weekend with up to 20% off selected home appliances. This Whirlpool front-load washer, 20% off. And this Hitachi fridge made in Japan, 20% off. Plus last chance to win a car. Now at Domain, hurry, ends Monday.
As a Beacon VIP, get 50% off your second item for 4 days only. Mix and match anything from our entire range and get 50% off your second. VIPs only, so join for free now. End Sunday. With Beacon.
High-risk buildings like the New South Wales Parliament were left virtually unguarded today as special constables walked off the job. It was part of an ongoing fight over pay and conditions, as state political reporter Liz Daniels explains.
Police had to take over patrols here today as special constables who usually protect politicians, the governor and our courthouses walked off the job after their negotiations to secure pay rises and more recognition of their risky work broke down.
These officers are on the front line in protecting our community, as we saw, against the threat, the very real threat of terrorism.
Despite that, they are still among the lowest paid in the public sector. Tonight, still no resolution, with special constables voting to continue industrial action. Next week, they will refuse to carry guns.
Serial killer Ivan Milat has been transferred back to Sydney's Long Bay Jail after several weeks in Prince of Wales Hospital. The 74-year-old was receiving treatment for terminal cancer with fluid removed from around his heart and lungs. He's been at the centre of a political drama all week, and tonight Hillsong founder Brian Houston says even he has no idea whether the Prime Minister wanted him to attend a dinner at the White House. The church pastor insists he never discussed the idea with the PM or anyone from his office.
He's the most talked about preacher in Canberra, but even Brian Houston is in the dark about his own role in an international political storm.
Was I invited? I genuinely don't know.
The question has occupied Parliament all week.
I think the public has a right to know whether our Prime Minister asked for Mr Brian Houston to go to the White House.
The PM won't say whether the Americans vetoed a request to have his friend, the head of the Hillsong Church, at last month's lavish state dinner in Washington.
It is not my practice to go around commenting on the unsourced reports, Mr Speaker.
Speaking with Ben Fordham on 2GB, Brian Houston acknowledged he is still under investigation by New South Wales Police for not reporting his now deceased father's sexual abuse of children. Whether that caused a disinvitation, he doesn't know. He and the PM haven't spoken in months.
Is there a chance that the Prime Minister's office put forward your name as a possible guest and you just didn't know about it?
Well, everything's possible, I just don't know, because I've never had a conversation with the Prime Minister about it.
He might be the only one not talking about it.
While politicians have spent the week focused on trying to get to the bottom of that White House invitation, this is what's grabbed Brian Houston's attention.
Church for its Worship and Creative Conference, where politics isn't the highest power. Jane Azzopardi, NBN News.
Donald Trump has announced he's lifting economic sanctions placed on Turkey, taking credit for a ceasefire deal in Syria. But escaped ISIL fighters are still on the run, and there's evidence of war crimes emerging from the troubled region.
From the Syrian front line, frightening videos filmed by Turkish-backed forces allegedly committing gruesome war crimes. The scenes horrifying top US defence officials.
And if accurate, and I assume that they are accurate, they would be war crimes.
We've seen several incidents which we consider war crimes.
Donald Trump, though, is focusing on the positives. Just a day after Russia and Turkey reached a deal to control the northeast Syrian border, he claimed the permanent ceasefire as a great success for the US.
This was an outcome created by us, the United States, and nobody else. No other nation. Very simple.
The economic sanctions placed on Turkey will now be lifted, while the president says it's up to other countries in the region to help Turkey and Syria police their borders.
Let someone else fight over this long, blood-stained sand.
Although there are still concerns over the re-emergence of ISIS, the president claims the terrorist fighters are under lock and key.
There were a few that got out, a small number, relatively speaking. and they've been largely recaptured.
But his envoy to Syria says there are more than 100 escaped soldiers still unaccounted for.
Do we have any idea how those escaped ISIS fighters will be tracked, accounted for, and recaptured?
At the moment, we don't.
In the United States, Tim Arvia, NBN News.
The young family in this next story has a Chevy to thank for saving their lives as they crossed an intersection in Phoenix, Arizona. The couple and their baby had just stepped onto the road when a suspected drunk driver barreled through a red light. But just before he reached them, his Jeep was hit by the Chevy. The suspect tried to run but was arrested nearby.
Peace and quiet will soon grace the steep pathway to the top of Uluru, but today it was busy, with tourists flocking in the last days before the climb is closed. From Saturday, visitors will no longer be able to trek to the top of the sacred rock, the ban imposed by the traditional owners.
Gavin Morris joins us now for a quick look at the weather. And Gav, the heat is set to peak in the coming days.
Yes, that's right. Total fire bans back in place from midnight tonight, right across the Greater Hunter and the northwest. So that's the Moree Plains, Narrabri, Walgett, down along the Fossicas Way towards the Upper Hunter and the Gap. That's where the winds are going to be at their hottest and also their strongest. And that heat is going to spill across northern New South Wales as we move into Saturday. And those winds will peak as the cooler change comes through, dropping temperatures for Sunday, but yet again it is likely to be largely a dry change, very limited falls. We've had a few isolated showers and a couple of storms around throughout parts of northern New South Wales, mostly hugging the mountain areas this afternoon and this evening, but nowhere near enough rain and nothing on the horizon of significance at this point. Your local details headed your way soon.
Thanks, Gav. Ahead in the news, a nasty surprise for two teenagers watching TV.
And firefighters save a roo that just couldn't dog paddle.
It's Domain's Big Birthday Weekend. Birthday savings on all computers and technology. Save 50 on these Intel laptops under 500. Save a huge 200 on these powerful 2-in-1s. Plus the chance to win a car. Now at Domain. Hurry. Sale ends Monday.
Create a home you love with boundless options this summer at Oz Design Furniture. Enjoy 25% off almost everything. Hurry and soon. Visit ozdesignfurniture.com.au. T's and C's apply.
Can we meet the bank about the home loan?
With the kids? How?
I've got an idea.
Home loans that come to you. The Mutual. Talk to us.
Summer in Australia. Heat and sweat aggravate dandruff and itch. I recommend Head & Shoulders. More effective than our regular shampoo, it reduces more dandruff in just one wash and protects your scalp. I recommend Head & Shoulders.
If 100% Australian owned means something to you, well, the power to switch is in your hands. Red Energy, 100% Australian electricity and gas.
Lazy Boy's sensational spring sale brings you fresh savings on a huge range, like this modular, now $2,999, or this 3-seater with power recline, now $3,599, plus 20% off all lift chairs. Hurry into Horton's Katara and Rutherford now.
It's time to make a better choice for your dog. Time for fresh, free-range ingredients direct from Aussie farmers. Just adding warm water creates a nutritious meal in 30 seconds. Frontier Pets. Feed their future. frontierpets.com.au.
Bed Match at 40 Winks takes the confusion out of buying a bed. And right now, get any size mattress for the price of a single. That's a queen, king, or super king mattress for the price of a single. But hurry, ends Sunday. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
Harvey Norman $500 million clearance. 55-inch 4K Smart TV, price smash $599. This HP laptop with Pentium processor now $598, save $130. Up to 60% of a huge range of floor stock and discontinued bedding. Hellbreathe 3-piece leather powered recliner lounge suite now $29.99, save $800. Up to 20% off carpet and flooring. Freestanding bath clearance, prices from just $799. This Fisher & Paykel French door fridge now $19.95. Hurry, $500 million clearance ends Monday.
Go! It's Australian.
It's super.
And it's knowing that with the right fund, you can be hundreds of thousands better off when you retire.
It's comparing funds and knowing you've made the right choice.
It's Australian.
It's super.
and it's yours.
It's Domain's Big Birthday Weekend. Birthday savings on all computers and technology. Save 50 on these Intel laptops under 500. Save a huge 200 on these powerful 2-in-1s. Plus the chance to win a car. Now at Domain. Hurry. Sale ends Monday.
It's hard to watch and even harder to believe that no one was seriously hurt. Dashcam video shows the terrifying moment a car tries to overtake on a narrow road and a blind corner. It clips the car in front, flipping into the air and smashing straight into oncoming traffic. The clean-up closed the Adelaide Hills Road for hours this morning.
Together, they built some of the biggest luxury developments in New South Wales. But tonight, the Nahas family is torn apart. A dispute between brothers, landing one in court on criminal charges.
It's a decision which brought Fadi Nahas relief, but not much more.
I'm very disappointed it came to this. I don't see it as a win for anyone. If anything, it's been a humiliation.
Allegations he intimidated his elder brother and stole luxury vehicles withdrawn after Joseph Nahas decided he did not want to give evidence. The elder Nahas is the managing director of the Coronation Group, behind developments which include the paper mill in Liverpool and a luxury tower in Parramatta. It's that company which Fadi Nahas says they fell out over, admitting he took things too far in March when he confronted Joseph Nahas, saying, "You don't want to meet up, you dog," before he slapped and punched him.
The magistrate accepted the assault came during the ongoing dispute between the brothers. She said this was out of character for a man who did not have a violent record, and so she handed Nahas a $1,500 fine.
Families and money are always a problem. Most people would agree with that, but being able to resolve it is a great outcome.
And Fadi Nahas says he'll still pursue the money he claims he's owed.
So in due course, they will be resolved.
Kelly Fedor, NBN News.
Overseas now, and the Lebanese army has formed a rolling wall of troops to force back protesters clogging main roads. The soldiers scuffled with furious activists, tearing apart their makeshift roadblocks. Tensions have been escalating for days. The movement is demanding the government resign.
One moment, these sisters are relaxing in their lounge room. The next, it's destroyed. A tree crashed straight through the roof of their home near Baltimore in the US, bringing the ceiling down with it. The tree, which you can see falling through a window, was uprooted by stormy weather. Concealed by ice for centuries, melting glaciers have revealed 5 new islands in the Arctic Ocean. Researchers from the Russian Navy mapped their discovery with drones, capturing breathtaking snow-capped cliffs. The cameras also revealing polar bears and walruses, already making the peaks home. Google says it's achieved a record using a quantum computer to solve a problem in just 200 seconds. It's a milestone in information processing, with the company claiming the same calculation would take a traditional supercomputer thousands of years. But rival researchers have questioned some of the data. Australians with pancreatic cancer usually face a grim prognosis, with survival rates barely changing in 30 years. But doctors are now thinking outside the box, shrinking tumours prior to surgery as part of a new approach.
Daniel Goulburn and Tony King lost their wives from pancreatic cancer. Both are on a mission as part of a group of 4 widowers to raise awareness.
Every day, 9 people are diagnosed and 8 die. I didn't know where the pancreas was. I didn't know what it did. I had no idea.
Tony's wife, Lynn, passed away 7 months after her diagnosis.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have very many symptoms, and if they do have symptoms, they tend to be vague things.
The Gastrointestinal Cancer Institute is investigating new approaches to treating the disease, which affects more than 3,500 people each year.
We believe that we can make the biggest difference if we treat people with early disease.
About 20% of new cases
cases, or 600 patients, have tumours that are confined to the pancreas. The two new approaches aim to more effectively shrink the cancer before invasive surgery. One trial involves more precise high-dose radiotherapy. The other, called Neo-Impact, will for the first time use immunotherapy in the early stages of disease.
What we want is something that just smashes it out of the park.
New treatments are desperately needed. Only 1 in 10 patients survive past 5 years of diagnosis, an outcome that has barely changed in 3 decades. Alberto Maqueta was diagnosed in 2010 and says he's very lucky.
Very fortunate.
Gabriella Rogers, NBN News.
There's some good news to report tonight on Chris Walker, who earlier this week was named New South Wales Grandfather of the Year. The Hunter man was recognised for the daily support he provides for his 2 grandsons, who both suffer from a disease that leaves them unable to eat normally. Chris has been fighting for support from the National Disability Insurance Scheme, which had previously rejected supporting the boys. But news today, the NDIS will now fully support Chris's family, which means much-needed in-home care can be provided.
The Australian share market finished the day strongly, with the All Ords closing 18.5 points higher. JB Hi-Fi saw gains, adding almost 7%. Webjet managed to gain altitude despite a big drop in Qantas shares. To commodities, and gold is trading higher, oil is lower. And $1 Australian is buying close to 68.5 US cents.
It's taken almost 20 years, but the New South Wales government has had a change of heart about mathematics in the last years of high school. It now plans to make the subject compulsory for Year 11 and 12 students. Education experts have welcomed the move, but warn it will require increased recruitment and training of specialist maths teachers.
Once a year, humans do what they can to improve on nature and add a little extra spice and beauty to one of Australia's best coastal walks.
It's called Sculpture by the Sea, and the Sydney Festival has again created a thought-provoking spectacle of art.
As the first sun lovers began laying down their base camps, Sculpture by the Sea revealed itself for its 23rd season, presented in a gallery that only Sydney could curate. 111 pieces are on show along the coastal walk between Bondi and Glamorama. Pencils jutting through rock strata or Spartan-like shields pierced by spears now providing temporary shade. But much discussion in the run-up to this year's exhibit has been organiser threats to leave the site over Waverley Council's plans to refurbish Marks Park, which acts as Sculpture's primary plinth.
In February to March, we'll make a decision as to what's happening. But we've got some scoping studies and feasibility studies, both within Sydney, regional New South Wales and interstate.
This year's major prize winner was already being appropriated by preschoolers.
It's just a metaphor for life. The sun also rises and the sun goes down, and that's us, you know.
Some artists on show have been inspired by it.
Joel Adler, who's probably going to get huge raps this show for his reverse periscope. He first saw this show as a child.
Well, there was a risk that the cliff was not going to hold it, so we had to install it and hold it with a crane and wait 15 minutes, listen for any kind of cracking noises.
From the figurative to the surreal, from pink tanks to angry boys, from the mutated mundane to the deception of reflection. When the heat picks up, Sculpture by the Sea begins to shine. Mike Dalton, NBN News.
It's a spectacle.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Kate Haberfield is here with all the sport.
Okay, Dave Warner's addressed his lack of form.
He's backing himself and others are too. Thanks, guys. After the break, 2 of the game's greats get behind the Under Siege opener. And Josh Papali put to the test ahead of the clash with the Kiwis.
Protein supports muscle development. Nutrigrain, one of the highest protein cereals. Introducing new Nutrigrain Nuts and Bolts Trail Mix. Mix it up with Nutrigrain savoury snacks. Alvinum and $500 million clearance. 55-inch 4K Smart TV, price smash $599. This HP laptop with Pentium processor now $598, save $130. Up to 60% of a huge range of floor stock and discontinued bedding. Hellbreed 3-piece leather powered recliner lounge suite now $29.99, save $800. Up to 20% off carpet and flooring. Freestanding bath clearance, prices from just $799. This Fisher & Paykel French door fridge now $19.95. Hurry, $500 million clearance ends Monday.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please. It's for my mom.
Your change.
Happy birthday, Mom.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
When you settle for one of the big four banks, it can feel like you're going nowhere. But you always have a choice. A choice to enjoy banking that rewards customers, not shareholders. A choice to save money and get ahead. To enjoy a better banking experience. And support your local community at the same time. Wherever you are, wherever you're going, you always have the choice to enjoy banking that will help you get there sooner.
Oh, it's time.
But don't wait for the sign. Leave your bank behind and enjoy the way banking should be.
I love being part of the Spring Racing Carnival, whatever I'm doing. I also love that Bet Easy gives me consistently better odds than the competition. What do you think? Oh, it's 3, hey? Geez, that's great odds. Raise your game with Bet Easy.
Greats of Australian cricket have backed Dave Warner to put his Ashes demons behind him and return to his devastating best this summer. Despite the lean runs, Warner's own confidence remains unshakable.
Dave Warner is under siege, but whatever you do, don't suggest he's out of form.
I'm not out of form, just out of runs. I scored 100 the other day at the Gabba. So for me, it's about going out there and just putting back-to-back performance on the board.
The Gabba Shield century is the lone beacon in his run chart since the start of the Ashes in late August, where Stuart Broad had his number. Yesterday, it was another failure in a one-day match for New South Wales.
My confidence is always high. Obviously it's the first time in my career that I've been under a bit of pressure and I hadn't scored runs.
Warner is philosophical about where he's at. Less than a month from the opening test of the summer.
Do you feel under siege for your position?
For me, then the day is just worrying about what I have to do, and that's score runs. Selectors have their job to do, and it's upon them to choose me or choose someone else.
In his corner for selection against Pakistan at the Gabba are some heavy hitters of Australian cricket.
Playing here in Australia, Davey's done really well. Class act. He'd be one of the first picked if I was selecting the side. I'd lock in 4 batsmen at this stage: Davey Warner, Steve Smith, Marnus Labuschagne and Matthew Wade.
Pat Cummins is the new golden boy of the game and is believed to be captaincy material. Mark Waugh thinks the job will be handed back to Steve Smith when Tim Payne's time is up.
He's been captain before. He's one player you know is going to be in the team for a starter.
Shane Warne likes things just the way they are.
For me, I would like to see Steve Smith, I'm not saying he could easily captain the side again, but I would prefer if he just stayed there as batting, just going in 5,000 balls, 10,000, however many you want to hit in the nets every day. Being the senior pro around the side.
Neil Breen, NBN News.
Good news today for Seagulls fans in the midst of Rugby League's silly season. Daly Cherry Evans has laughed off suggestions he's poised to walk out of the club and join the Broncos.
A cold dip before a fiery showdown, the Kangaroos locked in for tomorrow night's test and ignoring the latest player trade speculation. Daly Cherry Evans has seen and heard it all in rugby league, so much so that rumours about him are on repeat.
We understand you're off to the Broncos, mate. How do you feel about that? Look, if I'm honest, it's 12 months ago that this exact rumour popped up, so, you know, again, I'm very flattered that a club with such prestige would chase a player like myself, but you know, I am very, very comfortable and very happy where I am at Manly.
The Kangaroos' captain's run centred around the fitness of Josh Papali. He was far from convincing, several times clutching at his sternum region. After multiple discussions, the big forward was deemed good to go, but will require pain-killing injections.
You looked in discomfort, but you say you're all right. Can you run us through that?
Oh, no, I just had a massive padding there. That was just a bit uncomfortable, but yeah, look, I'm ready and fine to go for tomorrow's big game.
This test against New Zealand will be followed by one against Tonga. For the star-studded junior Kangaroos, it's the end of a long and arduous road. They take on France before swapping their boots for the board.
I've got a couple of trips booked. I think I'm going to go over to Hawaii, go up to Cairns. I'll go surfing up the coast somewhere. I went to Tokyo in Japan last week, and I was meant to go over to New York this week.
Rob Canning, NBN News.
On Saturday, Paul Gallen will get the chance to add a Cox Plate to his rugby league trophies. He part-owns Kiwi horse Tiakau Shark, whose selection in the field raised some eyebrows.
There's a definite upside to the racing folk getting up at all hours, and this is it. The most spectacular of sunrises, providing Port Phillip Bay with a warm glow. That's why Altona Beach is such a favourite with horses who are brought here to soothe the muscles post-race and soothe the mind pre-race. And so it was for New Zealand Cox Plate hopeful Tiakau Shark, seen here with the white slash down its nose. The 5-year-old is ready to vindicate the committee's decision to include him in the field.
He's on the upward spiral, and he's a horse that's bringing good form to the race and can only continue to improve.
While Richards has his game face on, he can't help but think he's a genuine chance to join an elite list of Kiwi trainers to capture the Weight for Age Classic. The mighty Sunline twice and Bone Crusher head the list of winners, the latter figuring in what's still regarded as the race of the century, outlasting fellow Kiwi, our Waverley Star.
Stride for stride, nothing in it. Our Waverley Star, the reign of Bone Crusher the outside, and Bone Crusher races into equine immortality.
33 years on, it's Richards flying the flag for New Zealand.
To be running in a race representing New Zealand that they have, but before we've been here, so it's a really good privilege.
And while Tiakau Shark relished this beach session, he doesn't mind strutting his stuff on the big stage also.
He's pretty laid-back sort of customer, not too much phases him, although he can get up on the toe every now and again, and I think with the crowd there on Saturday, he'll certainly be having a good look around.
The Cox Plate might be uncharted waters for both trainer and horse, but based on confidence, the sky's the limit.
Scott McLaughlin has revealed that he, along with co-driver Alex Premat and teammate Fabian Coulthard, had been targeted by online trolls following that controversial Bathurst 1000 win.
At the end of the day, it's you've just got to get on with it. If you can't handle that on social media, you shouldn't be on it at all. So, we're pretty thick-skinned, our team.
McLaughlin can wrap up his second straight Supercars title at the Gold Coast 600, which starts tomorrow. After the break, the Reds storm to a third FFA Cup crown. And Ben Simmons gets the 76ers off to a winning start.
This spring, take it to the Neds level with the Punter's Toolbox. Harvey Norman $500 million clearance. 55-inch 4K Smart TV, price smash $599. This HP laptop with Pentium processor now $598, save $130. Up to 60% of a huge range of floor stock and discontinued bedding. Hellbreed 3-piece leather powered recliner lounge suite now $29.99, save $800. Up to 20% off carpet and flooring. Freestanding bath clearance, prices from just $799. This Fisher & Paykel French door fridge now $19.95. Hurry, $500 million clearance ends Monday.
During Beaumont's Mega Floor Clearance, Or hello gorgeous, not $1,500, just $670 for the whole room. Save now with Beaumont's mega floor clearance. Beaumont's. Honey!
We planned to stay.
Well, we never thought it could reach us here.
Mum and Dad got a plan, okay? It wasn't to leave the horses.
We planned to leave.
We never decided when. Ask yourself, how fireproof is your plan?
Need better number plate ideas? Try the My Plate Maker. It suggests available plate combinations personalised for you. Try it at myplates.com.au. Del Paso, make some noise. Think you've got what it takes to ride to live. Every time you ride to live.
You got to stop renting, son. When your mum and I got our first place, I went straight to the bank. I said, if you don't give me a loan on the spot, I'll walk.
There are other ways. When it comes to home loans, just go straight to Aussie.
Neds puts you in control of the race and the track this Saturday. Pick any Australian thoroughbred race, including the Cox Plate, and get up to 10 tools in your punter's toolbox. This spring, take it to the Neds level.
As a Beacon VIP, get 50% off your second item for 4 days only. Mix and match anything from our entire range and get 50% off your second. VIPs only, so join for free now. End Sunday. With Beacon.
This sports update proudly brought to you by PointsBet. Make the Spring Carnival one to remember. Download the PointsBet app today.
Adelaide is in hot form ahead of Saturday's A-League clash with Newcastle, with the Reds crowned FFA Cup champions for a record third time last night, stunning Melbourne City 4-0. Teenage sensation Al Hassan Toure got the hosts off to the right start with a sensational strike. His teammates adding 3 more goals in the second half to secure the silverware. An easy victory for Liverpool in the Champions 14-point win over the Celtics. The Aussie posted a team-high 24 points, 9 assists and 8 rebounds. For compatriot Joe Ingles, his Utah Jazz beating Oklahoma 100-95, and Paddy Mills' Spurs scored a 9-point win over the Knicks. The Sydney Thunder are preparing for back-to-back games this weekend in the Women's Big Bash. It comes as the league enjoys its first standalone season. The Women's Big Bash is winning fans young and old. Newcastle product Sam Bates is only too happy to be a part of it, lending herself to the team's literacy program.
To teach them something that they can honestly use for life is something really special and means a lot to me.
Bates is off to a good start on the pitch too, finishing with 3 for 33 in the Thunder's 7-wicket win over the Heat.
It's always good to kind of contribute to the team as well, but I think if we had lost, it was kind of no point in taking those wickets, so it was really good to see Phoebe and Alex really put on that partnership and kind of win it at the end for us.
It was Thunder's first win of the season after losing to Sydney rivals the Sixers in the opening game.
I think we can all admit probably against the Sixers we weren't our best players, and it was the first game we've ever played together, so I think we bounced back really, really well against the Heat, and yeah, it was a really good win.
The Thunder will play 2 games in 2 days this weekend in Sydney against Melbourne sides, the Renegades and the Stars.
I think we don't want to kind of do anything differently, so we're 1-1 at the moment, so I think it's just about those processes, about knowing our roles, and about having fun at the end of the day.
WA young gun Brady Watt is 2 strokes clear after day 1 of the Victorian PGA. Andrew Dote and Jake Higginbottom are the best of the Hunter golfers, both firing a 1-under 65 to finish the day tied for 13th. Blake Windred, Callan O'Reilly and Andrew Townsend are further down.
The sport of foot golf is relatively new in Australia, but one of its biggest tournaments is heading to the Hunter. Horizons will host the Asia Cup in November. And today we sent our very own Mitchell Hughes to see what it's all about.
If you're trying a sport for the first time, it's good to learn from an expert. Originally from Argentina, these days Leonardo Fernandez is the head of Foot Golf Australia.
So we're playing a par 4, 175 meters, and the hole goes from left to right. I'm left-footed, so I'm going to try and give it a big push down the middle of the fairway.
Having played plenty of football and golf, I thought I'd be a natural.
Jogger.
Eventually, I got the hang of it.
Nice, that's a very good shot. Beautiful shot.
Horizons will host the Asia Cup, having offered foot golf for just 2 years.
An international event at Horizons and Port Stephens, it's just a huge bonus for us all. Really, they play 2 holes on one basic golf hole, and as a consequence, they whip around 9 holes playing foot golf in around about 40 minutes. Very little impact.
Australians are new to the sport, but made a big impression at the world titles in Morocco in 2018.
We had our team getting to the top 16 in the team event, which was a great achievement, and some of our players in the top 100 in the world. So we're getting there.
They'll take on Asia's best during the Cup from November 19 to 22nd as individuals and in the team challenge. World champion Matias Perrone from Argentina will then make an appearance.
During the weekend, we have the World Tour event, which is an individual competition open to even the public. So you can sign up and go for the $3,000 in prize money.
Mitchell Hughes.
Beautiful shot.
NBN News.
He made me watch all his highlights.
Yeah, there were plenty, I'm sure.
Thanks, Kate. The weather's next.
Get your best at things like this that racing fans love.
Do it, babe.
Go on, mate.
Make this spring carnival one to remember. Get $4 odds for Mystic Journey to run top 4. PointsBet offers you won't believe, moments you'll never forget.
Alvin Omen $500 million clearance. 55-inch 4K smart TV, price smash $599. This HP laptop with Pentium processor now $598, save $130. Up to 60% of a huge range of floor stock and discontinued bedding. Hellbreathe 3-piece leather powered recliner lounge suite now $29.99, save $800. Up to 20% off carpet and flooring. Freestanding bath clearance, prices from just $799. This Fisher & Paykel French door fridge now $19.95. Hurry, $500 million clearance ends Monday.
Want to lower cholesterol by up to 9%? It's as easy as 1, 2. 2 of these wheat bix a day provides 2 grams of plant sterols, which are clinically proven to lower cholesterol by up to 9% in 4 weeks. Take 2 a day.
Alvin Omen $500 million clearance. 55-inch 4K smart TV, price smash $599. This HP laptop with Pentium processor now $598, save $130. Up to 60% of a huge range of floor stock and discontinued bedding. Hellbreathe 3-piece leather powered recliner lounge suite now $29.99, save $800. Up to 20% off carpet and flooring. Freestanding bath clearance, prices from just $799. This Fisher & Paykel French door fridge now $19.95. Hurry, $500 million clearance ends Monday.
Buying pet food online is easy. Even you could do it. Pet Circle. Now fetch the magic window. Fast, free delivery, best price guaranteed. Hill Science Diet.
Pet Circle. Better all round for pet supplies.
Something's missing at Cardiff Nissan.
It's the big one, Eddie.
Nissan's 1% finance offer is back and it's huge.
Great deals on selected models in the Nissan range.
You don't know what you're missing till you get to Cardiff Nissan.
The LDV T60, tough and packed with features. And for a limited time, we're adding one more feature, a $2,000 prepaid Visa card. The T60 from just $28,990 drive away. It's why more people are saying it's LDV for me.
It's time to make a better choice for your dog. Time for fresh, free-range ingredients direct from Aussie farmers. Just adding warm water creates a nutritious meal in 30 seconds. Frontier Pets. Feed their future. frontierpets.com.au.
Jeez, that's great odds.
Get paid the best no price every Saturday on exactas, quinellas, trifectas, first fours and quaddies across every race in Melbourne and Sydney this spring carnival. Bet easy. Raise your game.
This weather update proudly brought to you by Bet Easy. Raise your game this spring carnival with Bet Easy.
Time now to check in with Gavin Morris for the latest on our weather.
Thanks, Tash. Pretty interesting weather today. A little bit of a surprise southerly blew in due to this trough line that also helped trigger some isolated showers around the region today. Stunning shot here, Port Macquarie Lighthouse. A lot of smoke haze over the northern New South Wales coast, especially around Coffs. No rain recorded over the past 24 hours till 9 this morning, but as said a little bit during this afternoon, that area of instability caused by that shallow trough line that was looming just opened up the gateway for that little southerly, but it's had little to no effect inland, and there's a massive contrast across the region tonight. Closer look at that in just a moment. Big line of storms here. There's our next change coming through. That's going to cool your Sunday. Leading up to its arrival, though, some very dangerous bushfire conditions are going to evolve again. Total fire ban is in place for the Greater Hunter from midnight tonight. I suspect it will remain in place for Saturday as well until that change moves through. It is going to get quite hot and it's going to get really windy. Calm in Brisbane. All of that heat is getting flushed out ahead of the change. Rain spilling in over the southeast throughout tomorrow. Comfortable in the west, and a shower for Cairns in the tropical north. Look at the radar. There's some of that shower activity up the north. We had a little shower there trying to make its way across some of the suburban areas, but all that instability is largely hugging the mountain areas. Taking a look at temperatures reached today, big contrast, 33s throughout the valley, and much cooler with that southerly just blowing in over our beaches. And look at the difference here. Humidity, 94% on the coast. Look at it inland, less than 10%. So a big difference. Temperature still 30 degrees throughout the valley. That hot air, there's no surprise southerly tomorrow. That nor'wester will push the heat all the way to the coast, and then we'll see that nor'easter fight to get in. Most of the area around Port Stephens try to skim the coastal fringe, but everyone is going to have a very hot day throughout tomorrow. The air mass super duper dry, so total fire bans are certainly warranted throughout tomorrow, and it's really going to dry the situation further. We've had some rain and it's a little bit green, but it's going to dry up very quickly and back to a brown landscape before you know it with these kinds of conditions across the region. Temperatures mid-30s easily right throughout the valley, mid to high 30s throughout the upper Hunter. It is not what we need here. This is classic summer-like weather settling in early, and we expected this really to happen, that's for sure. The swell, not much of it there, but it'll be held down by that northwesterly, and tomorrow morning's high tide just before 7 a.m, dropping to the low at about 20 to 1. Sun will be up to start to 6 and down again at 7:15. Plenty of stars out with the clear skies overhead tonight. Very hot and windy over the next couple of days. A little bit of cloud increasing and the change coming through, making for a cool start to next week, but the heat is going to rebuild. For the upper Hunter, hot, windy, dangerous conditions. Raised dust are certainly possible over the next couple of days. Bit of a dip in temperatures and then back to the mid-30s by Wednesday. We'll see a very similar outcome right throughout the central coast as well. Beach was very inviting and a lot cooler than the valley. This morning, a little bit of swell and the dolphins enjoying it, but there's that southerly that kicked in this morning. Bit of a surprise for many. Hoping for clean waves. Sorry about that one. Took me by surprise as well, but I got to fly in instead of a surf. Looking at tomorrow, we've got those northwesterlies. They will definitely hold. Not much swell, almost dead flat. Great for a bit of a dip. A little bit cool in though, hovering around that 18-degree mark.
Thank you, Gav. When you hear the words Christmas savings, you might think of the Boxing Day sales. But it's now November that has the biggest bargains, with Australians spending $500 million more than they do in December.
We haven't even hit Halloween, but already the halls of Costco are decked with all things Christmas. As the decorations go up early, so too does our spending.
I think November is the golden month for retail. It used to be December.
Last November, shoppers spent $27.5 billion compared to $27 billion in December, and it's online sales boosting bottom lines.
This is a month to really have your eyes peeled for the bargain hunters. It really is. Retailers go full on to get the sales.
It all kicks off on the 11th of November with Singles Day, the biggest online shopping event in the world. Then on the 12th, you'll find thousands of cheap deals with Click Frenzy. And don't forget to pop the 29th in your diary. That's Black Friday, with bargains to be found both online and in store.
Shoppers are starting to trust online sales events and really leveraging towards online shopping. And as a result, we'll see November continue to be the biggest trading period of the year every year.
No matter which way you look at it, both November and December are critically important months for retailers. Last year, in the long lead up to Christmas, we spent almost $51.5 billion. This year, that figure's expected to top $52 billion.
For the physical retailers, the established retailers have a great opportunity to really create a very good and festive in-store experience over the December month.
Finally tonight, kangaroos can dog paddle, but not for long. So when a roo jumped into a backyard pool in Sydney, it was lucky emergency crews were able to come to the rescue. Thankfully, fireys know how to nurture a sodden marsupial while dodging those big toenails. You'd have to. All wrapped up, the roo was taken to a quiet paddock nearby and politely told to beat it back to the bush. Guys?
Yeah, he needs to pick a pool with stairs next to it.
That's it, yeah.
Then he can get out. And that's our bulletin for this evening.
The Today Show will have the latest headlines from 5:30 a.m.
Thanks for your company and from all of us here.
Good night.
Good night.